What happens when you take two serious anglers, drop them on an unknown body of water, and give them a mission to conquer the lake and each other? Two different patterns, one unknown lake, with no practice and no preparation. Who will catch the most fish and how? The only way to find out is to go commando. The mission is simple. Two experienced anglers. Two different battle plans. Going head to head on one unfamiliar body of water. Steve Pennaz takes us to the front line of fishing to learn the lessons of the Lake Commandos.
You know, Mark, I was watching the weather this morning and those fronts were passing just south of us, pouring rain, that kind of stuff. I thought we were toast.
Yeah, they changed the weather last night. It was supposed to be windy the whole time, but they added a little bit of rain for today.
But the bad news, it's blowing 20,
yeah,
maybe 25 even.
Cold weather, high winds, and an unknown body of water. Sounds like the perfect conditions for a true lake commando, because a commando knows sometimes the toughest conditions can produce the best bites. Today, Steve Pennaz will share his Ranger with a guy who makes his living trying new things and exploring the unknown. Berkley Product Analyst and bait designer Mark Sexton. Today's commando mission is to find and catch smallmouth bass on a large natural lake in less than ideal conditions. A larger body of water in most cases gives a lake commando more options for finding and catching fish, which can be key when conditions get tough. Here are the details on today's battleground. The lake is over 5,500 acres, but not only is it big, it's deep, with a max depth reading of 110 feet. The deep water is also very clear. It's classified oligotrophic, with Secchi disc readings as deep as 12 feet and plant growth out to 22 feet. Available habitat is plentiful, with numerous underwater points, humps, and flats, including traditional weedline breaks and mid-lake rock formations. Cover is varied and plentiful, with an abundance of submergent vegetation, including invasives like Eurasian milfoil and curly-leaf pondweed. Rocks and boulders also provide a large percentage of available cover in the form of shoreline reefs and deep-water rock humps. Primary forage includes yellow perch, ciscos, and a large minnow population, including spot-tailed shiners. Conditions are less than ideal, with cool air temps, falling water temps, and a brisk northwest wind. That's the battleground the Lake Commandos are facing, and we're about to find out their plan of attack. But we also want to know how you would fish it, so let us know online.
Today I've chosen my gear that I'm going to take and show Steve how this is done. Starting with the bait, I chose a number 7 flicker shad, and I think this bait's going to be the ticket today. I think these fish want to eat. With the time of year in the fall and they're putting on the feed bag, they're going to want baits that are moving fast. I can cover a lot of water with this flicker shad. You know, the closer that I can get deep water to the shoreline, I think that's holding the prey species, and I think that's where these fish are going to be. So I'm going to want to stay away from the shore a little bit, and so I opted for spinning gear. I got a Veritas 7-foot medium with a Revo spinning reel, 14-pound nano, a new low-vis green, with a little bit of fluorocarbon leader on the thing. I should be able to throw this bait as far as I want, pinpoint casts, and cover a lot of water quickly. I may have to downsize if these fish are a little finicky, but I'm going to start with the 7.
I'm going the same direction as Mark. I'm going to be fishing a hard bait today, but I'm going to go with a rattle bait. This is a Sebile flat shad in size 7. It's a sinking model. It's a larger one. I may play around a little bit with one size smaller, which is the 66. But these fish are feeding. They're feeding for winter, and we want to cover a lot of water. I think Mark's right on. I think shallow flats will be the key today, especially where we got a little bit of sun now. These things are going to warm up. Deep water access will be key, and so will rock and gravel. I'm going to be throwing this bait on a 7-foot medium action Veritas rod. I've got a Revo winch bait caster with 5.41 to retrieve ratio. I've got 12-pound fluorocarbon, trilene 100% fluorocarbon. This is the ticket that's going to put a lot of fish in the boat for me today, and it's going to be the one that beats Mark.
So it's gonna be 2 high-speed Clearwater smallmouth strategies using 2 of the latest cutting-edge crankbait designs. Here's how the Commando Challenge works. The guys will fish each pattern of choice for 2 hours. Then they'll switch to the second pattern. In the end, the guy who catches the most fish on both presentations wins the honor of Top Commando. Today we'll start with Steve Pennaz's flat shad program.
You know, every time we fish a new lake, it's always that first bite that's hard to get. And once you get the first bite, it gives you an idea, at least there's some fish where you're fishing, and the method that you're using is working. It is so cold out right now. My hand is not functioning right.
Fall smallmouth can be quite fickle. They usually have wintering grounds, and then they're in progression to getting there, and the problem you have is figuring out in what stage they're at.
Fish!
Small.
Oh, man!
I didn't see anything.
Go! Well, 10 casts into it, the flat shad.
Just minutes into the day and we've got serious signs of life. But with Mark Sexton in the boat, Pennaz can't afford to dump too many today. Lake Commandos is brought to you by Abu Garcia, For Life, Trilene, Anglers Trust Berkley Trilene, Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time, Nanofill, the next generation in fishing line, and by Fish Hound, when to go, where to go, what to throw. The Lake Commandos are on a mission to find and catch big smallmouth bass on a large natural lake with deep, cool, clear water and tons of cover. For Commando Mark Sexton, diving headfirst into the unknown is nothing new. As a product analyst for Berkley, Sexton gets paid to try new things and push the boundaries of bait design. His job is to create, design, and test new baits, which means he spends a lot of time on the water. And he's good at it. You may have heard of the chigger crop. That's just one of the hot bait designs from the mind of Mark Sexton.
I can't catch up to him. Nope, small one. But it's a largemouth. That doesn't count.
You know, Steve, apparently you weren't a fisheries major. It's the smallmouth we're after, not the largemouth.
You know, we're 15 minutes into it so far. Had 2 hits. One was definitely a smallmouth. I had it right to the boat, and the other was a largemouth. So we've got a good start. What I'm finding though is this entire shoreline looks so good. And what I'm trying to figure out is these fish are probably keying on rock piles. The problem is when we move out past 5-6 feet of water, we can't see them.
Smallmouth.
Oh man, nice fish too.
Yeah, he's a beauty. You like the 66?
I like the fact he's got a front hook on him. That means he was eating, baby.
Yeah, he hit that good.
How far from the boat did he hit?
Not telling. He was pretty close. Nice fish.
Yeah.
Just a hair under 6, we'll call him.
Oh yeah, okay. Look at these boulders down. I can see where we're catching them here.
Fish.
You got another one?
I like this spot.
Yeah, I got it marked. Another smallie, front hook again.
Smallmouth.
No.
Front hooked.
Well, the pattern's working. The flat shad, rattle baits.
I love to fish rattle baits in a variety of fashions and let the fish tell me what's happening. Straight line retrieves fast, straight line retrieves slow, and then do it some, slow jerks, maybe a pause. You just gotta let them tell you what they want.
The flat shad's really produced today. We caught a number of fish. I think we had, 10 or 12 bites in the first 2 hours of the day. That's pretty solid no matter where you're fishing, especially under these conditions.
There we go.
Tell us?
Thought I got bit on that last cast.
What color? Not telling,
The
right?
fish is brown.
Oh,
He keeps catching the green ones. We'll catch the brown ones.
Can't believe I'm down 3-0 already.
Front hook again, Steve.
Yeah.
They're liking them.
They like our color. You know, we've left the flat. We took a couple nice fish off that flat, and we've got a break line that comes in pretty close to shore. It's actually 6 feet here, and it comes up into 3. I like these areas. I'm gonna go back down to a little bit smaller bait. I'm gonna go from the 77 to the 66 here. I think of all the fish that are out there, going commando on smallmouth is probably the toughest, especially when you have conditions like late fall. Fish! Oh yeah, baby!
Oh! Does that really count?
That came in the boat, baby. He hit. I didn't get that on the camera because he bit right here as I was lifting the bait out, but 3-1 finally.
Pennaz is on the board, but he's getting schooled on his own bait choice. And with the weather continuing to deteriorate, it's gonna be tough to make up ground. This segment of Lake Commandos is brought to you by Yeti Coolers. Yeti, wildly stronger, keep ice longer. The Lake Commandos are chasing smallmouth bass in bad weather on a big, clear lake. And right now, Berkley Product Analyst Mark Sexton is in complete control of the head-to-head competition.
We got fortunate today that we found fish in the first couple spots we fished, and that we were able to mine those spots.
Another front hook fish, Steve.
Another one?
Yep.
Oh, man. You doing a straight retrieve?
I'm not telling. I like burning reels, you know, that new Revo MGX at 7.9 is fast. That gives you options. You can smoke the bait, you know, you can work it slow, you got good take up, you got good drag systems.
Oh man.
Miss one?
Yes.
Fish.
Oh, now you got one? Ooh, nice one, Mark.
That's a beauty. Yeah, he's been eating. It's a bigger one.
I'm officially getting crushed. That's a nice fish though.
He's been caught too. He's missing half his lip. A little skinny. He should be fat this time of year.
You know, it's amazing. Some days you can't do anything wrong, and there's other days when you can't do anything right. Today is one of those days where I couldn't do anything right. Fish. Oh, he just got off. What am I doing wrong, man?
I don't know. We are going to move on to the number 7 flicker shad in Purple Tiger. This bait is a great cold weather bait. It's going to get down there a little bit deeper than those flat shads, and we ought to get at some fish that we haven't got after yet. Use bigger baits, burn them fast, cover a lot of area. When you find a school, then you can work them. You know, and if you want to throw some soft plastics, that's fine, but usually in the fall, you're going to be more productive with hard baits that are moving fast.
Fish! Big one. Holy cow, what is this? Oh, it's a big northern.
Yeah, nice bite.
Oh. It doesn't count.
He doesn't count, that's a nice one.
That's a nice fish though, isn't it? That's a big bite, isn't it? Oh man, it's the wrong species.
Who cares, he's big.
That's a nice pike. I mean, look at that thing, that's double-digit fish.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Slimy, but fun. The water temp's getting into the 52, Steve.
It was almost 55 when we started today. This is odd with the light dropping and the temperatures dropping. I think those fish abandoned the shells. At least most of the fish did.
The conditions are getting tougher by the minute, but a good commando will never surrender.
Yamaha's come out with some tremendous new products this year. We're at a new product introduction. This is their test facility down in Bridgeport, Alabama on the Tennessee River. But one of the ones I find really exciting is the new 204 stroke. And with me is Dale Barnes to tell us a little bit more about it.
The advantage we see with this motor is 200 horsepower, of course, is a very popular size of a motor, but what excites us particularly is we've been able to configure this motor to come in and weigh only 487 pounds. That makes this motor really come to life on a number of today's really popular boats.
Put it in perspective, that's 119 pounds lighter than the V6 version of the same motor just last year.
That's right. It's amazing when you really think about it. The size and the configuration of it is not simply the weight reduction, but it's a very compact motor in its size and its shape. And this motor has a wide array of applications, and we think it'll be very popular across the country.
If you're looking for a good power plant for your next boat, check out the new 200 4-stroke Yamaha.
Lake Commandos is brought to you by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. Gulp Alive. Looks, feels, tastes alive. Yeti Coolers. Wildly stronger. Keep ice longer. Not too kinky. No kinks. Ever. And by Humminbird. Simply, clearly better. The Lake Commandos are battling big water and bad weather in a search for smallmouth bass, and it's been anything but easy. Faced with high winds and clear, cool water, the Commandos agreed on a high-speed crankbait pattern. Steve Pennaz chose a lipless flat shad, and Mark Sexton selected a deeper diving flicker shad. The flat shad turned a few fish early, but with water temps dropping, the flicker shad has been a bust. Still, with a tough day winding down, Mark Sexton has a commanding lead on Steve Pennaz.
Fish! Oh yeah!
Dark one.
Look at how dark that fish is.
Never seen one like that.
I mean, every fish we've caught today has been almost as green as these baits. It's been almost 2 hours since we've caught a fish.
That was a brutal stretch.
It's been a brutal stretch, but we went back to the flat shads. We moved back shallow, and there we go. That's the bait. About a 13-inch fish. He's got a huge tail, but he's super thin. He's real thin in through here. He's almost like he's malnourished. But I'll take him.
We went back to what we knew kind of worked. And even though the conditions were worsening, we went back to it, and Steve, I think he lost one, and he caught one.
There's a fish. Ah! No, that's the fourth one I've lost today.
And then I believe he had another one on, and I was starting to get a little scared. Thankfully, we're all frozen stiff, so it was time to go home, but it was getting close. I think if we had another hour or two out there, I think we probably would have tied, or Steve might have got me, so.
Mark, I have to admit, if I wasn't behind, I would have called this 2 hours ago. It's brutal conditions right now. And it's died. It's just crashed and burned. We get a bite every hour now.
In hindsight, we had the right pattern right away. We made the most of it, given the conditions, and then things just went south instantly. As soon as the water temp dropped a couple degrees, they moved or lockjawed or both. So, all in all, a pretty good day. He lost as many fish as he caught, and that's good for me. I landed every single fish I hooked, but otherwise he would have beat me pretty soundly. And you know, we weren't doing anything different. It was just, you know, when they're scattered like that, it's completely random whether or not you're gonna get the bite. You just gotta make more casts, burn more water.
I fished poorly today, and Mark spanked me. One of the things I'd like to do is invite him back next year and fish a different lake at a different time and see if the results will be a little bit different. You know, the tackle that it really produced was a Sebile flat shad, and it was interesting. These are the two exact baits we're using today. This is a 77 size, and this is the 66 size. You can see they're a little bit size different. We fished them both on Abu Garcia Veritas rods, 7-foot medium action, and the reels were the Revos, both fabulous. But a big difference between these two reels. This is the Revo winch with a 5.4 to 1 retrieve ratio, and this is the MGX with a 7.91 retrieve ratio. If I'd have changed anything about today, I think what I've done is I've gone to a little bit faster reel. I'd have replaced the winch with a reel, another Revo in a 6.41 to retrieve ratio, just to step it up a little bit. You can fish these baits really fast And I think today I was fishing a little bit slower than I really wanted to. The other thing I think I would change today, as I was fishing, this is Trilene 100% fluorocarbon and 12-pound test. Mark was fishing the same line, but he was working it on 10-pound test. I think he was getting down just a little bit deeper, and while it may be a half a foot or just a foot, it was enough for him to catch more fish.
I'm Captain George Mitchell. This is Coastal Chaos. Hey, tides have a huge impact on saltwater fishing, yet few anglers understand all the effects of them. Hey, and it's not just the height of the tide that matters, but it's the velocity and the direction, whether it's going in or out. Tides influence fish position and their activity level. It's much more pronounced in inshore waters, but also does affect them offshore. One of my favorite species is redfish, and I fish them often. When the outgoing tide is really moving, the fish stack up on the outside edges of the jetty. Tides matter offshore. Let's say we're going off the east coast of Florida wahoo fishing. History says the whoos bite best on an outgoing tide. A quick check of the tide chart tells me when to go who hunting. Bottom dwellers like snappers and groupers like to feed into the current. Concentrate your efforts on the up current side of the structure. For deep water and areas with strong current, fish the latter stages of the tide. Taking the time to track tides will put more fish in the boat.